And we're back for our final segment. Tom Gibson here with Chuck Augustine, and we're in Nye County, and I don't know if we're ever going to get out. Alive anyway.
I don't know if I said it on camera or not, but there's reports that something like 70% of the Congress and senators would be in jail tomorrow in the real world. How do you make that happen? Or do you? Well, of course, you're up against huge power, the vast majority of power in our government. The only way is through the military. I'll be point blank. Me and Tom off camera talked about reports that there are black ops helicopters landing at Langley. This was yesterday or 2 days ago.
And actually, it was an entire battalion
exactly.
of Marines.
And they were armed and they went in hard. Not shots fired that I've heard about, but...
And what is Langley?
CIA, yeah.
Headquarters. And so
right.
And who would win in a fight between the Marine Corps
well,
and the CIA?
Exactly. And the report I got is the director of the CIA requested Trump for support because of internal challenges by elements of the CIA. That opens the legal door for Trump to send in the troops. Now, of course, that could be challenged, and if you got 70% of globalist, corrupt politicians in the Senate and the House, you're going to be challenged until they're in jail.
That's correct.
And what I see happening, and it could happen at any moment, or it might not happen, is that at some point we will have some form of martial law. And I talked to a friend of mine years ago, Barry, and we both agreed that that was the only way this country's ever going to be cleaned up, and the swamp is going to be drained.
Well, and for those who are unfamiliar with Greek history, the word tyrant comes from Greece, and it wasn't actually a bad thing. A tyrant was a person when when the government was failing, the tyrant would do a coup, take over, and he would rule for 5 years. And then he would go into self-banishment, which is like the death sentence. He would leave, and so that's how much they loved their country, that they said they had to they believed that they had to take over and straighten things out, but to make sure that it wasn't going to remain corrupted, they would leave after the 5 years. Eventually, the politicians that formed these coups decided that they liked it after 5 years and wouldn't leave, and that's where you get the negative term,
sure,
tyrant.
And that's it. We don't know what's going to happen if, in fact, there is martial law. Who are the people in power behind Trump? Is Trump a good guy? None of us know for sure. We certainly should know, in my opinion, that we've had a bunch of corrupt globalists who do not represent the people of this country or the interests of this country. They want to, in fact, dissolve this country. And that's the kind of leadership we've lived under for my life, certainly.
Sure.
With few exceptions, Kennedy being the most obvious.
Well, Reagan, sort of.
Yeah, Reagan, and again, there's a whole bunch of stories
about how he was threatened and guns pointed at him. Yeah, and Nixon, too.
Yeah.
Nixon tried to, I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head, but Nixon did something that ran afoul of the
Illuminati. The
whoever you want to call them, the globalists, and they threatened him with a gun in the White House.
Well, anyone that's been, you can tell Obama was absolutely in lockstep with the globalists because nothing happened to him. He wasn't shot. He wasn't accused of doing anything. You know, he made it scot-free.
His first term, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And which infuriated the Republicans. Like, well, why can't, he's just wasting time. And the Democrats claimed the Republicans were trying to impede him in every way, shape, or form. I remember those days, and they did their local, usual politics. But at the same time, if Obama had come up with a good idea that wasn't completely to the left, then they would have gone along with it.
Well, it's funny because when people say the left and Obama, and this distribution of wealth, which was a trigger thing for the conservatives. It never happened. It was the opposite. The 1% gained more and more share of the world's wealth. The poor people, the middle class, are the ones that got hammered through Obamacare, through everything that happened during his regime.
When I was in high school, we were learning about the trickle-down theory of economics, and I asked for permission. I approached the board, and we had the little inverted V, and I drew on the chalkboard. I drew a dam around the top. And I put a dam around the top of the pyramid, so when the trickle, when it went to trickle, it didn't get down to the lower levels. It all stayed on top, because that's effectively what the super wealthy do.
Sure.
And I was laughed at.
Absolutely, they control it.
But I'm right.
Yeah. Ray, we got you back 3 times, buddy.
There you go.
Hey, Ray the Flagman, one more time. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Huh?
All right, tomorrow would be the 54th, I think it's 54th anniversary where Kennedy was assassinated, November 22nd, I believe, and today's the 21st. A lot of people don't recall that. I know I was like 18 years old when, let's see, yeah, I was 18 years old, and it was really terrifying, you know, when that came across. They don't show it as much as they used to, but, I mean, I want people to know, and that was really a traumatic experience for this country. I want to ask Tom one question about prosecution. Is it so important that they get a conviction that they'll let someone go even though a crime was committed, because they'll use an excuse like, well, maybe the intent was not there, even though it's horrendous what they did? Why is intent so important when you can see, like, take Paul Miller, everything he owned was taken from him and given away, and because the prosecution said, well, we cannot see intent here, they're just helping this guy out. They took everything he owned and gave it away. Oh, we're just helping this guy out. So they can't get a conviction. Is it more important to prosecute people for committing a crime and not just tossing it out because they're afraid they will not get a conviction? So I'll leave you with that. Keep the faith, power to the people. Thank God we saved the Tigers, and we saved them twice. Flagman, over and out.
Okay, well, before I answer that question, I just want to say that BTS, it's a Korean music group, and my daughter is their biggest fan. And Mark Dice, who I like, but he didn't do his research, and he was bashing BTS. And so on this program, I'm asking publicly for Mark Dice to apologize to BTS and my daughter, and to do it forthwith. All right, so anyway, to answer the other question, here's the deal like this. If you cannot get a conviction, then you shouldn't go, or the prosecutor has to feel they can have a reasonable certainty at a conviction. If you don't feel that you can convict the defendant, then you have no business charging and going to trial on a case. As a matter of fact, it's unethical, and you could be disbarred for it. So that said, prosecutors are very wary about trying to jam something through. Now, as long as you have a good faith basis, that's another thing too, because it's like, and a close, it's like it's a close case, a jury might not like it. That's still, you can go forward on those. But I know the case that Ray's talking about, and every prosecutor that's looked at it said, I don't want to, I mean, yes, there's certainly in a civil setting, in a civil trial, he would probably prevail.
Right.
But that's because you're in a civil. It's like, were you negligent? What, should you have taken his stuff? Did you misrepresent things to him? Yada yada yada. But if it were a criminal case, you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt, and all 12 people, all 12 have to agree that this person, and these 2 people in particular in this case, intentionally took the gentleman's belongings and deprived him of that with the intent to deprive him of it. And I know they thought they were doing him a favor. They thought that he was collecting too much stuff. They said he was a hoarder. They said that that they were doing it for his own good. And you know, then it's like, okay, if you kidnap somebody from the Moonies, and is that for their own good? Right. Some people get away with it, some people didn't. Okay, but kidnapping is a lot different than the other. But so that's, I mean, the short answer is you don't go to a trial on a case you don't think you can win. And even I know he would prevail, or I believe he would prevail in a civil case, but not a criminal.
Okay, Amy, we got you on the line.
Hi, happy Thanksgiving. And I have a quick question about your pyramid and the trickle down. Who would you put at the top of this county, and why would they not be held accountable for their intent? Okay, and I'll listen for the answer.
I'm not going to mention any names on that one. I have a very strong opinion and on who has a lot of blood on their hands on why this county, well, this town in particular, doesn't blossom into what it has the potential. We've got the water, we've got the space, we've got the aesthetics, we've got everything to be another Palm Springs, and but we don't. There are people who theorize there are certain families and powerful groups in town here who don't want it to be the next Palm Springs. They like it the way it is, and they do everything they can to thwart growth. And I have an opinion as who those people are, but I'm not going to mention it because A, I don't have enough facts to be totally confident in what I'm saying, and B, this isn't the forum to do that.
To me, it's follow the money, as with everything else. And money is power, and they go hand in hand. And anybody that's dealt with all this sexual misconduct, the pedophilia, it's sex and rape, everything related to that ends up being power. It's not the sex part, it's the power part. And that applies to me in government totally. And anyone that's surprised that highly regarded politicians are caught doing these things, to me, just don't understand the disease of sexual abuse. It is a power disease. They want power over people. They want power over the masses. They can't stop with their thirst for power. And that's what it ends up. And unfortunately, money and power go hand in hand, whether
Yes.
it be in the county or in the federal
Well,
government.
and look at prime example of money and power, George Soros. He multi-billionaire, and for kicks, he likes toppling governments, and he does it with impunity so far. And I'm waiting for the day that we hear that he's out of circulation.
Okay, we're getting near the end. Happy Thanksgiving, Nye. Despite this show, I think it's wonderful what's going on in the world, and I can't wait for this crap to change.
So just everybody, if you're smart, start stockpiling canned goods and food, and get your bullets. And it's more important to have ammunition than guns, believe me.
Okay, we're going to head out. Thanks again. We'll see you in a month.
Pahrumph's best internet, Valley Communications. Introducing the VCA Triple Play. VCA has the fastest internet in Pahrump, and now we've added state-of-the-art digital TV and digital phone. Don't delay. Bundle VCA Internet, digital TV, and phone, and save with VCA Triple Play today. Call 775-727-5312 or visit valleycom.com.
Turn to the friendly and helpful staff at the UPS Store for all your printing needs. Banners, posters, flyers, and more. The UPS Store. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. Visit theupsstore.com for locations.
Why choose John Air? For the same reason they choose Lennox products. Heating and cooling companies can buy any competitor's products from a distributor. But to get superior Lennox products, they have to meet the Lennox quality dealer standards. And it doesn't stop there. Lennox dealers are continually trained and tested to ensure the Lennox code of quality. John Air and Lennox have the same goal, the ultimate comfort for your home. Call John Air today. Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Reiner, your host of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump, a TV show that airs Monday night on Channel 46. I want to remind you that I am a practicing physician in Pahrump, and I'm an independent practitioner, which means I am not bought by any insurance company or corporate medicine. We provide the highest level of care. We have nurse practitioners. We have other physicians, specialists who come to our office. Please come visit me. I'm at 1316 East Calvada here in the heart of Pahrump. Thank you.